all our Bethel Park BPTV fans and YouTube fans. Thanks for watching all of our by request shows. We appreciate it. We have another great by request by JessicaLeeJazz.com. You can go to her site and tip the cats. Please help defray any costs for the musicians during this COVID. We appreciate it. And we have a great show coming for you on by request. And I'll defer to Jess to tell us what it's going to be.
Hey, Al, it's nice to see you on this sunny 70-something day in Pittsburgh.
Very nice.
City of bridges. And as we always do, what do you have there to sip on?
I'm going to take a little sip of my loose leaf green tea. It's a good health and a good show. And stay safe.
What brand are you drinking today?
I'm drinking a China gunpowder today. Loose leaf China gunpowder, very tasty, and it helps keep me healthy. So it's a good, healthy show. Let's go.
Hey, well, today we always feature on the By Request show 2 songs that have been requested during the pandemic. And one of them that we're going to start with today is one of my all-time favorites because Louis Armstrong is one of my all-time favorites. And I had the chance to speak to a friend of mine, and he surprised me and told me that this song was special to him for certain special reasons. So what do you think we bring in our guest, Al?
Let's bring him in. The mystery man, will you please tell us your name?
Hi, I'm Bill Kai. At least my friends call me Bill. My full name, my proper name is William Kai. And I'm the second, not the first, not a junior, but the second.
I appreciate the intro.
Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Al, so I think you've known Bill a little longer than I've known Bill. And Bill,
yes.
You and I connected through social media. And I saw that you are involved in a lot of really beautiful things, including you've been involved in the past with autism, charities and more. And when we had the chance to connect, you talked about this particular song, What a Wonderful World. And would you just tell our viewers a little bit about why that song is special to you and why that was a song that you wanted to hear during the pandemic?
Well, my wife and I, Tammy Gaddis, we've been together now coming up on 20 years. We were married on June 9th. We married at Our Lady of Loretto Church in Brookline, where I grew up. And we had our reception brunch at the Lamont, which coincidentally was where my parents had their reception. And then we had an after reception at the old Louis Tambellini's restaurant on Sawmill Run Boulevard. My grandmother had worked in the kitchen there for, chefs like Rico Lorenzini, Albert Tambellini, and so on. But my wife and I picked that song for our wedding when we walked into the reception. We didn't do a dance, but we felt it was just a fitting song. It had a sentimental value to my mother-in-law, Alice Gaddis, who did not live to see her daughter marry me. But, it was just such a classy comfort song that I think we need in this particular time as people are struggling through COVID, financial stress, professional and career stress, and anxiety over obviously things that are beyond our control with regard to elections and politics. But it's just such a great song. The lyrics, it's something of where you want to feel good about yourself. And I think, Mr. Armstrong delivers it, in his way, and you interpreted it in your way. And I thought it was very lovely. I'm a very cultural person. I've always liked jazz. I've seen a couple of your shows in person. Obviously, we share some professional overlap, as well as working for quality of life issues and trying to improve individuals' plights. And I have done some work in the community for education and literacy at the library. I've also been involved in sports in Western Pennsylvania through the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame as an executive board member. And then finally, you know, as far as my outreach, what I'm trying to do is help people that have mental health issues in the criminal justice system, and sometimes they're marginalized. And I just think this is a great song, and we needed it, and you hit it out of the park. So I hope I answered your question.
You did, Bill. I want to go just a little further. You were talking about how people are dealing with the pandemic. And during very difficult times, sometimes there are silver linings that you find. And if you could tell everybody just a little bit about what you do and any silver linings that you found, ways to make it through the pandemic, lessons you've learned.
Well, I just received a call from a parent of a client that I had represented as a juvenile or a minor, someone under the age of 18. And that person now has obtained their college degree from a local university. They are gainfully employed in their career path. They are sober 21 years, and they're expecting their first child. He's married to a lovely woman. So that's a silver lining story, that I took a situation that was very problematic. It did not look good. The addiction was very troublesome. It brought him into the justice system, and we were able to navigate him successfully through those liability issues, and we're able to give him a second chance, and he's taking the most of that second chance. So I think that's an uplifting story that I have to share with you today.
It is, and Al Levine has spoken to me about you and spoken very highly of you. And so you've been practicing law here in the Pittsburgh region for some time now, Bill. Are you from Pittsburgh?
Yes, I grew up in the city of Pittsburgh, and I attended St. LaSalle High School. I went on to Duquesne University for my undergrad, and my law school. I got my JD at the university as well. I'm involved right now on the Alumni Association Board of Governors for the law school. I try to teach up there periodically through the Wecht Institute of Forensic Science and Law. I present on various legal issues, mostly trial advocacy, trial litigation, ethics. We're going to be putting on a presentation in December for our lawyers and professionals regarding misconduct and how to report it, and then how to deal with it when you're caught into that issue. It could be something along the lines of just not returning phone calls, or it could be something more serious like taking client monies and commingling them with your own. I'll be coming up on 27 years in the practice. I've done work in the private sector and the public sector. And you and I shared recently where last year I decided to take a pivot beyond just my criminal and juvenile defense litigation skills to start a consulting company where I could actually be more of an asset to small businesses and communities looking to solve problems. And so again, I'm very optimistic that, you know, my career is always changing, but I think we have to change in our new normal, so to speak. And again, I'm so grateful that you decided to honor that request and to have me on the show, Alan. And I think it's just the start of a lot of great things to come.
Well, Al, if you would share a little bit about how you met Bill. And Bill, I think that you have a connection to music yourself in certain ways. Yeah. So go ahead, Al. How did you guys meet?
Well, I met him through the sports world. As you know, I do Pittsburgh Sports Line, and we just clicked with different conversation, and our beliefs and our life experiences are very similar. Matter of fact, we had a short conversation of 1 hour and 32 minutes the other day. It was very short.
For that time.
And I didn't talk the whole time. I must share that with you and all my fans. I did not talk the whole time. I listened about half the time. And he does great things in sports. He's been a great guest on my show a couple times. And we've talked about local sports, young youth sports, and other things. And he just is very knowledgeable. And I know he's a nice guy and he's a proud guy, but he doesn't always tell everything. Like, he's involved in a local sports hall of fame that is pretty interesting. I'd like him to touch on that for a second or two.
And now the music as well. The music, Bill and I did have a chance to talk by phone a bit about his connection with music, and sports and music, they're together, the entertainment industry, right?
Yes.
And so they share some things in common, and a lot of life lessons for people who participate in them, and kids and all of that. But, you know, yeah, say a word. I think, Bill, you did mention your involvement a little bit with the Hall of Fame, and you have a little bit of a connection with music and how it heals as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's ironic because on Friday, this past week, I was given a Zoom link to share in a commemorative Hall of Fame induction for Seton LaSalle High School. And I had nominated one of my former classmates and colleagues, and she was a gracious award recipient. And at the same time, one of my teachers, who happened to be the band leader and the teacher of music, Rex Gatto, who's now also in professional consulting, was a recipient of an award to become inducted into the Seton LaSalle Hall of Fame, which when he went there, it was South Hills Catholic. So he was so instrumental in my life at a early age, because as I was in a feeder Catholic school to a Catholic high school, they would have theatrical productions in the spring, musicals. And I remember before I even became a student at Seton LaSalle, he was in charge of sort of vetting people for particular roles. And I remember it was The Music Man, and Winthrop Peru was the sort of character, if you will. And I went into his band room, and he says, "Okay, well, show me what you got." And I just started singing, and I didn't think anything of it. He and I laugh about it all the time. And we laugh about a few other stories too from when he taught me up at Seton LaSalle. But he called me up and says, "Well, you know, you're going to get this part, and we want to know, are you going to commit to this? Because it's a you know, tremendous opportunity for you if you want to continue in the theatrical, you know, sort of evolution back then." And lo and behold, it led me to like 2 or 3 television programs with Joe Negri, and I think even Mr. Rogers. And I remember that as a child. I probably was only in a 7th or 8th grade, but that was my musical introduction, being in a major production that won. I don't know if they had the Kelly Awards back then, but they certainly had some type of awards. And the theater was packed. I mean, the auditorium was packed, and I'm this little kid, and everybody sort of just like opened their arms to me. And I, you know, produced when it was time to sing songs and to act. So I took that with me, and then I went into sports. I never really got back into it, although Mr. Gatto always encouraged me. And one of the most memorable classes that we had in band was Bolero. And that was just such a beautiful symphonic performance. And none of the students liked it, but I did. I don't know why, but I liked it. And I still listen to Bolero, and we laugh about it because, like, I gave him a congratulatory note and told him how much he meant to me, because he does. I mean, my teachers all gave me the opportunity to be where I'm at right now and doing the things that I want to do. And here he is doing things in his community. So there's that similarity of values that, you know, evolve from our faith, and we want to help people to be of service.
You know, you've talked about service through law, service through music and entertainment, theater, service through sports. I think you've made the world a wonderful world. by all you've done. And I want to also mention, I think your wife has recently been involved in some of the music and healing initiatives that are going around in our city too. I know we have some beautiful projects. The Chill Project coming out of Allegheny Health Network is using the expressive arts to help with mindfulness and get rid of stress and anxiety and help with depression. So you and your wife both have been involved in making our region a better place during the pandemic. So Al, what do you think about this song that they chose for their wedding? What do you think? Should we hear it?
I'm excited about the whole show with what you covered here between Jess and Bill, and my little listening skills came through 100%. Let's please listen to What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom now for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world it is. I see the skies of blue, yeah, clouds of white, bright blessed day, yes, a dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, we watch them grow. They learn much more than we will ever know. Well, I think to myself, wonderful world, yeah. The colors of the rainbow, pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, how do you do? They really say, I so love you, I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than I will ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world, yes. Think to myself, what a wonderful world is. It's a wonderful world. What a wonderful world, yeah.
was just awesome. You and Mark were amazing. And each time you've sang it over the years, I appreciate it, but it means so much now from what Bill was saying and what you were saying and sharing, and just what I feel with what we've been going through. So thank you again. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Please go to jessicaleejazz.com, tip the cats, defray the cost of the musicians.
Hey, Al, thank you so much. And that was guitar great Mark Strickland, who I was singing with at the City of Asylum on the North Side just before the pandemic. And I'll bet you took a look at the song. Did you take a look at What a Wonderful World? Do you have any history to share?
Yes, yes. You can prompt me to that. I'll go back to 1967 when Louis Armstrong was working out in Vegas, and he recorded the song in 1967, and he just changed labels. I won't mention the name, but the guy in charge wanted him to have a different type of song. So the song went to the UK and Europe and became very popular. It was just a great hit, and it just did well, but it did so poorly in the United States. They only sold like 1,000 songs of it.
But do you know why?
Yes, they didn't promote it one bit. That's what I had heard, because the owner of the record company, and they had so much control, he wasn't with it. He was against it, and he kept it down. And then I'll give a positive thing. It did rise in the USA to number 32 on the Billboard's Hot 100s. And in 1988, on the Australian chart, it hit number 1. So it was getting popular all over the world. And then they went to digital with the song in 2014. Louis Armstrong's version is over 2,173,000 sales of songs. So he came back strong and did very well. And it just become a worldwide hit sung by many famous people.
Now, Al, when the song started to make rebound in the United States, was it Good Morning Vietnam that brought it back?
Yes, yes. I know you know that stuff, so I figured we could interact with it. And they really said it didn't really apply to the song or the movie, because the movie was made in 1965. So guess what? That's 2 years before it was created. But, you know, in movies, there's a little license to, you know, change things. But that kicked it off, and it gained the popularity throughout the United States. How could it not?
So Louis Armstrong holds a special place in my heart and in many who love jazz and American music. He influenced so many singers. There's a book called Louis' Children, and you can see how he influenced so many generations of singers. And, you know, so just a wonderful artist. I just love Louis Armstrong. And in these days when we're fighting the coronavirus pandemic and more, his smile, I think of his smile and What a Wonderful World, and that beautiful smile that was
and
so
how about
warm.
that voice? How about his voice?
Loved people, and joy came through his music, his voice, his trumpet. So, well, Al, let's talk a little bit about the final song before we let everybody go today. This was the first song that I ever sat down at my piano and recorded while I sang for everybody during the coronavirus pandemic. And I think it was at this time that I realized that live music was going to be not around for a while. And so people started to ask for requests. And this is also from a movie. You know, we said the first song, What a Wonderful World, was connected with a movie to make its comeback in the States. And this one certainly was connected with the movie, but I understood why people were asking me to sing this song during the beginning of the pandemic, which was You'll Never Walk Alone, to feel that spiritually, even though we're going through really tough times, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and there is, and we'll talk about that.
Jessica Lee, it's Sunday night. I'm trying Facebook Live for the first time. There's a piano down below here. I'm sending out a song specifically for those who are fighting sickness of any kind. I have a couple of people in mind who I'm praying for this evening, and I'm sure that some of you do too. So I decided to just try this song for everybody tonight who's fighting. You'll never walk alone. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is a golden sky and the sweet silver song of the Lord. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you never walk alone. You never walk alone.
Lee, what a great debut. The piano playing, I was honored, like I keep saying, to hear you play piano on this one and sing. It just sounded amazing.
Thanks,
Singing
Al. And what a beautiful lyric, right? What a beautiful.
Oh, I listened to the words, and you just sing each word, and there's so much meaning that comes through that. My blues are gone. No blues today. I guarantee it.
So Al, we just want to say thank you, I guess, to everybody, Dave Cable, BPTV, who helps us to produce this. Thank you to anybody who tips the cats at Jessica Lee Jazz to help us with some production costs. And really just thank you to everybody who continues to send song requests for our By Request show. Can do that through Facebook or through my, website, or they can send them through you, Al. So keep the requests coming, everybody. Keep singing and dancing and reaching out to each other. I know we're not alone. We're never really alone, Al.
Yes, and thank you again, everybody. Also, everything Jess said, plus, if you want to brighten somebody's day up, share our By Request shows. Please do that. It doesn't cost you anything, and it'll bring a smile to somebody's face like it did for us. So please share. And thank you again for watching By Request by Jessica Lee and Al Levine, the Talking Machine, and tip those cats on jessicaleejazz.com. Thank you very much.